Well, okay. We'll get through this intro here in about a few seconds. Start our little program. We're going to be adding a video to the front of an iPad Pro. And this is the iPad Pro. I downloaded it from this site. You might have to sign in if you care to get this. It's free. I wish it didn't have the pen, but it does. Okay, downloaded. It is downloaded. Let's go ahead and transfer it over to my Apple Motion folder for future use in this video. Just slide it on over. Okay. Is slid over. All right, let's go ahead and record a video for this demonstration. Go ahead and use Quick Camera. I like this app. I've got it hooked up to my Mac via that card right there. Oh, there it is on the left-hand side of the screen. All right, let's go ahead and fix the aspect ratio. Go ahead and full screen it. This is recording. This will be our video for our demonstration. Just going to move around in my website, example website. Go to more. And basically that's what we're trying to achieve right there. We want that video to stay on the front of that screen. And I'm going to show you a real easy way how to do that. Coming up here shortly. Okay. Still recording. We got about a minute video. You can always skip ahead if you don't want to watch this. I'll leave a little timeline in the description below. I think it's almost done. Okay. Getting close. Okay, we're done. And now that it's recorded, we want to have, round the corners off so it'll look more like it's really on the iPad. In order to do that, we're going to have to crop it. I'm in ScreenFlow right now, and I'm cropping it. Go ahead and add the corner round. That looks about right. Maybe a little more. Yeah, right about there. That's cool. Okay. Now let's export it. It'll export our movie, our demo movie. And these are all the settings I used. I'm using an alpha, so the corners will show up on the front of the iPad. Okay, now we're in Apple Motion to start our... Okay, so now we want to go ahead and add our cropped and cornered movie that we just made from our iPad with our capture card. Let's go look for it here. We're going to import it into this under group that I've got highlighted. I'm going to use the really big version. These are all downloadable from Google Drive if you want to use them. The first two are just 4K copies that are not alpha, and the corners may not work as well. I tried them out and they sort of work because there is a black bevel on the iPad. Okay, we're going to scale it down. That looks good. And I do want to crop this one too, even though it is an alpha. I just get that screen size the same as the iPad. Just move that in. Move this side in. Whoops. There we go. Move it in. And it's cropped. Let's make sure it's centered. We'll go down here, click on here, and go to anchor point. Yeah, that anchor point's dead center. Cool. All right. Good to go with that. let's go ahead and highlight that group again, and we'll import our 3D object, which is a iPad Pro. Oop, I imported the wrong thing. I'm gonna pause this and fix it. So when the screen comes back, it'll show the iPad Pro when it comes back. There it is. It is definitely showing up. Now I want to make a custom size here. I want to set that to 3.5. Okay. Also, I want to set the Z axis to 90 degrees. All right, it's set to 90 degrees. I want to go ahead and move the anchor point to the center of, or as close as I can get to the center of the iPad. I got to stay on the arrow. It doesn't have to be exact, but the closer the better. Okay, let's go back down and go to transform and try to move our iPad to as close to the center as we possibly can. And it's almost there. It looks good. Let's just check it out. We'll check the 2 center points. A little bit off, but I think they're close enough. It'll work just fine. Okay, with the iPad selected, we'll send it backward to move it behind our video. All right, let's select the video. Go to Properties and scale it so it fits perfectly on the iPad. You have to fool with it. Might even need to change snapping off. I don't know if that helps or not, but it might. And just work with it until it's centered, as close as you can. I think it's centered now. That's good. Select behaviors, go to basic motion, click on align to. You drag this over, don't press really hard if you got an iPad because it won't work. Okay, there it is. Next thing you want to do is start setting our, or we want to center it. That looks good. Okay, it is centered. We're at the start of our video. So let's go ahead and go to rotation. And on the y-axis, let's click our first key and leave it at 0 so it starts out at 0 degrees. Move our scrubber up, click it again so it stays 0. Move it up some more. And we want to rotate it, so we're going to put in 360. Once we put in 360, it'll automatically key it as soon as we hit enter. Okay, there's our key. And it does rotate. Okay, cool. Next thing we want to do is go ahead and move it forward a little bit. Go ahead and key it again so it stays in that position. Move it up again. Let's change this to 0. Changing it to 0 and hitting enter will automatically add a key, or you can just add it yourself. Doesn't matter. Move it up a little bit. Yep, it works. Okay. Let's move it back to the start. Okay, move it forward a little bit. Okay, key it. We're going to key both X and Y this time. All right, move it forward. Go back up and change X to 360. And we'll key Y again. Since we're not making it move, we have to actually add the key to it. All right. And sure enough, it's moving on the x-axis. Looks good. All right, let's move it forward again. Okay, key it all in. Okay, go ahead and type in 360. Enter. I think from this point I'm going to go ahead and fill the rest in offline, and we'll continue on from that point. Okay, it's filled in. See what it looks like. Well, the video showing up on both sides of the iPad. Not good. But there's nothing we can do about that, so we'll have to key that out as well. And we'll key it out using, we'll go up to the actual video. We'll go to opacity. Go ahead and put our first key in. Now let's move it along until we don't want to see it. Move it. Okay, right about there. I'm using the keyboard arrow keys to fine tune it. Okay, we'll key that. And actually moved it up one and turned it to 0. So now there's nothing there. Let's move it till, yeah, right about there. Let's key it again so it'll keep it at 0. Move it 1. Turn it back up to 100. Okay. All right, that's looking good. Okay. Okay, let's key that to make it 100. Move it to where we're going to start our 0 right there. Just use the arrow key on the keypad. Turn it down to 0. Move it until we find where we, okay, right there, that's good. Oop. Yeah, right there. Click on that. Arrow key. 100% so we can see the video. Okay, I'm going to finish the rest of this offline for the sake of time. Okay, it is finished. Let's check it out. Looking good. Go ahead and snap our little outlines off. It's looking perfect. Even on the x-axis. Did a good job. Good job. Keep on testing it. Make sure there's no errors, which I'm sure there isn't. Okay, we're going to go ahead and add some text, some 3D text. Click on a 3D text. Go ahead and type in something. I'll type in something stupid. Like, let me think. Oh, this is really cool. God, I'm such a fast typist. All right, let's go ahead and change it to 3D. We'll go over here where it says normal. Click down. Go to 3D styles. And we'll choose car paint. Whoa, that's pretty big. Let's tone it down a bit. Make it smaller so it'll actually fit on the iPad screen. All right, that looks good. That's about right. Once again, we want to go up to behaviors, drop that, make sure we're on our text, drop behaviors down, go to basic motion, align to. All right, again, just drag it over, drop it. Now it's aligned. Let's check it out. See what it looks like. Yeah, it's following right along with the screen. That's what we want. Okay, now I think getting pretty close to where we want to. It's pretty finished now, so let's go ahead and export it. Anyway, okay, so we're going to export the whole thing. Settings, video only, next. That looks good to me. Just go into my motion folder. We'll save it. We'll click on that swirly thing there. How much time is left? Whoa, it's done already. That's amazing. Well, let's go ahead and watch it and see what it looks like. Expand the screen. Play it. Well, it's looking good. It's following right along. Good job. Good job. Anyway, I hope this was a learning experience for anybody that watched this. I think if you can get this down pat, it's a good start to learning motion. And maybe dressing up your web page if you have one, or if you're thinking about doing one. I think this video is about 65 seconds long. Again, you can use you can download it if you want to follow along and download because they're all 4K. The only reason I'm using the 444 Apple Res is because that way the corners will show up better. Like I said, I did test it out, and they do show up with the other two, but not quite as well. All right, we're getting to the end here. It's really cool. That's it, and that's how you do a iPad screen.